Hi and welcome to People's Channel. My name is Dennis Salani. 7 reasons why I love children's stories. The first reason is that children's stories promote friendship. If you watch children's stories, you'll always realize that they end in friendship, and throughout, whatever happens leads to friendship. The aim is not to create enmity in order to prove who is stronger or who can fight better, but the end result is to create friendship. And this is very good because it teaches children to be good citizens. It starts them while they are still young to teach them to be good citizens who love friendship. Number two, they always instill hope and courage. If you look at children's stories, they might have problems within them, but they come up with ways of solving those problems. And what is instilled in the mind of the children is that there is always a better way out. There is always a better way to get out of whatever situation. So that is the second reason why I love children's stories. Third reason, they do not encourage violence. Yes, in children's stories there is conflict like in adult life, but always the authors of children's stories make sure that whatever situation is encountered is attended to in a very peaceful way without violence. So the difference between children's stories and adult stories is that in adult stories, a lot of violence is involved. And that sends out the message that violence is a necessary component of life as compared to children's stories. Now, if I had my way in life, I would ensure that always on television, on radio, on film, we only have children's stories because children's stories train people to use peaceful means in order to address their problems. Reason number four, children's stories, unlike adult stories, they do not show nudity and sex. Remember, in adult stories, there is always this element, and it's believed it's like the frame of mind of the authors and the actors, the directors, and the producers of adult stories is that for stories to be exciting and to hold the attention and the interest of the viewers, there must be nudity and sex, explicit sex for that matter. And that is not real because what happens is that there is a framework that is developed to show that always when a story is good, it's when there is people who are walking there naked, people who are engrossed in explicit acts of sex, and that is not really desirable and doesn't build a good way of life. It's fantasy and it doesn't add up value in real life. Reason number five, children's stories, they always promote sober habits. In other words, there is no use of alcohol as compared to adult stories. There is no use of alcohol and other intoxicating substances that are usually floundered in adult life. If you can open your TV now and look at an adult story, you'll always see people grossly involved in alcohol, in drugs, and usually those are taken as a way of arriving at solutions as a way of running away from problems that they are facing. But in children's stories, you don't see such stuff. You only see children playing, happy, building relationships, as I've mentioned earlier on. Now, children's stories, they always encourage peaceful ways of handling dispute. There are disputes in children's stories, like in real life. There are disputes, there are quarrels, there are differences in opinion, but always in children's stories, the disputes are handled in a very peaceful way. No fighting involved, no quarreling involved, no court cases like in adult stories. Reason number 7, children's stories always have a happy ending. They're unlike stories for adults that usually end up in death, in funerals, in wars, in strife and torn. Now, children's stories always have a happy ending. And as a result of that, the frame that it brings into the minds of the children and by extension to the mind of the adult is that whatever we face in life, we should strive to remain happy, to remain peaceful, to remain contentful. We shouldn't give in to different situations and as a result end up creating situations of war, situations of strife, situations of torn. Now, as I indicated, if I had my way, I would ensure that all stories that are in second, whether they are in written form or whether they are in screen, they should conform to some of these pointers that I've indicated here. They should promote friendship, they should instill hope and courage, they should encourage non-violence, they should discourage nudity and sex, they should promote sober habits because stories are building blocks of real life. And what we want to see in real life is what we should be encouraging through stories. Then they should always encourage peaceful ways of handling problems. And lastly, they should portray a happy ending for any situation. What do you say? Come on with your input. I'm here to listen to you, to interact with you. What's your comment? I need to hear from you. For now, bye and have a good time.